Hey, this is Not the Girl Next Door show, and today I have the band The Helvetica Effect. How are you guys today?
Doing good. How are you doing?
Good, good. Could you tell everybody a little bit about the band, introduce yourselves?
My name is Rob Perez, and I do the lead vocals as well as play guitar.
I'm Matt Cyrus. I play drums and do some backup vocals and such.
And for those, go ahead. Sorry.
No, the third person in the band is supposed to be on her way, so maybe she'll pop in here in a minute.
That's okay. So tell those who haven't heard your music what kind of sound you guys have.
Well, it's a very kind of a hard rock sound, you know, something that you could relate to, like, say, Breaking Benjamin or Seven Dust, if you wanted to kind of put bands attached to it. But, you know, we try, you know, just like any other band, you know, we try to put our own spin on it and our own little vibe to it, you know.
And I have to ask, I'm sure you guys have been asked before, but how did you guys come up with the name of the band?
Oh, my gosh. Well, I'll do a quick little story here. So when we first started the band, we really loved Cartoon Network, Adult Swim.
Yeah.
And they had this show on it called Look Around You. And how they would start off the show was like this 1970s instructional video, you know, kind of like you know, little videotapes you'd see in the third grade, and they explain how science works and all that stuff. So anyway, the premise of this video, or part of the show, was that if you removed a calcium molecule from this atom, it would effectively melt your face. And we were like, you know, we're face melting rock, so yeah, absolutely. This sounds like this would work perfect. So, and the thing is that they called it in the video the Helvetica scenario. I kept fucking up and calling it Effect, and yeah, Effect just stuck. So that's pretty much the way it's been.
Well, that is awesome. It's built in that you guys are face melters, so there you go.
That's how we do it, you know.
So who are some bands that have influenced you guys as a band? Who's played a role in shaping your sound and bands you guys look up to as well?
I'll let Matt start on this one, actually. He's got a better grip on the drum side more than anything else. Give me time to prep.
No, I'm here, by the way.
Okay, cool. We have a Carmen.
Hi, Carmen.
Hi.
Well, let's see. For influences, I guess real big for me, I'm a really big Seven Dust fan. Morgan Rose is like one of my icons. I kind of try to channel my inner Morgan when I play drums. He prides himself in kicking the shit out of his drums, and I try to do the same, make him proud. But also some of the things that really kind of like drive my creativity, I guess, a couple weird bands that people might not have heard of. There's a band out of Australia, and they're called 12 Foot Ninja.
Yeah,
and they do some really interesting genre bending stuff with their music. They'll be going hard rock, and then all of a sudden they'll like switch into this like flamenco like jazzy beat, or like this like reggae funk kind of style, and then bring the rock right back. And it's just really interesting that they're able to do this stylistically like interesting thing and do it really well. And so I try to throw a curveball into our music sometimes too, to kind of mix it up a bit, not just be so straightforward.
Anybody else want to share their musical influences?
Carmen?
Yeah, I was thinking. There's so much. Probably my main musical influence probably be Deftones. Deftones or rap. It really goes between the two. But that'd be mine.
If I had to put mine in there, I've kind of already named them, but yeah, definitely Seven Dust, definitely Morgan Rose and Clint Lowry and the entire crew over there. They're just, you know, I would say they're probably one of our biggest for sure. Personally, you know, I'm all over the board. You know, I range everywhere from, you know, Nine Inch Nails to Prince. You know, that's just from just from my musical leanings and musical standpoint. But as far as the band is concerned, kind of piggybacking off what Matt said, there's another Australian band that I really love as well, Carnival. They definitely influence us a lot as well.
Now, how did you guys meet? How did you guys meet up and decide to form a band? What happened to set you guys together?
Well, to begin with, it actually all started back in 2009. So we're actually, for lack of a better term, we're on a 10th year of doing this. This is kind of the version 2.0. Me and Matt, we used to work at Best Buy, and I was trying to get a drummer, and I had only known Matt for playing guitar for so long. So what we ended up doing was, trying out Matt on drums, and at the time, we were a much bigger band, 4-piece, and trying to do the cover gig thing and whatever. And again, we didn't know Matt could drum, so we all got together, and we're just like, hey, let's just bang out a couple of covers, see what happens. And we ended up doing like 10 covers in one night. He just knocked it out of the park. He was just incredible. And we had no idea that he had this just massive drumming prowess behind it. Over time, we've had a couple bass players. We had one primary one that I guess was the heart and soul of the band at the time, Will. He ultimately ended up leaving at the end of 2014. And we had a couple, replacements here and there, but it just wasn't the same. So we took a hiatus, and then in 2017, the idea came up to bring Carmen into the band. And Carmen, she's been, a fan of the band, a friend of the band. She's been kind of always in the background as far as, kind of having those same musical leanings, and for lack of a better term, still being able to call us out on our bullshit. Saying, okay, this song's great, this song sucks.
You keep them in line?
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. So Matt brought up the idea, of one, bringing the band back, and then two, saying, hey, we know Carmen, and we know she shreds because she's a hell of a guitar player, and don't let her tell you otherwise. She's incredible. But we were just like, well, what about Carmen playing bass? And it was that chemistry, it was that kind of kinetic magic that happened with the 10 cover thing again. We all got together that first night, and the first night we got together, we wrote the new single. We wrote Gods and Monsters. So it was just, this energy that we were looking for since Will left. Carmen brought it back, and we've been tight as hell ever since. It's the next day, 2 years later,
Well, let's talk about the single a little bit. Let's talk about Gods and Monsters. And I know you said you guys have a lyric video, but let's talk about what it's about and, where it came from, maybe the writing process and how you guys do music and how it was. Obviously, it was like a chemistry. You guys were like magnets putting together the music, but talk a little bit about the song, the single.
Sure. Matt, do you want to start off on this, or you want me to take
the lead
on it?
When we first, like Robert was saying, when we first sat down, it kind of just we start most of our projects with the music, and so of course we had just brought in Carmen, and it just kind of happened. I brought because I play guitar as well, and so I brought a riff in, and it's like, yeah, that's cool, and then Rob came in with, like, this is a cool line for the chorus, and then Carmen comes in with it. This is really cool for the verses and the bridge, and it just kind of came together so naturally and like easily. I was surprised just at how smooth everything went. I know Rob's process for doing lyrics is always stems from the music itself, as opposed to like having like a book of lyrics. It's like, we'll take song 3A here, we'll try to match it, but no, it actually takes the actual music and uses that to inspire like what he writes. So it actually comes from within, from the heart and the soul, and that's how it always is. And Rob just kind of I guess, dug deep and actually came up with a really great lyrics for this song. If you want to talk about them, Rob.
Yeah, you know, I don't. I'll be the first to say, as far as my lyrics are concerned, you know, I'm not one to want to delve deep into the meaning. You know, I would much rather have people, you know, read them and look at them and kind of develop their own thing, as opposed to me saying, well, it's about this, and then everyone kind of gets that preconceived notion, oh, well, it was about this, so, you know, that's that. Having said that, diving a little deeper into that, when we really started delving into the writing of it, I was still kind of reeling from Chris Cornell dying. Chris Cornell and then Chester Bennington. And, you know, the kind of thought was going off in my head because, you know, like I was saying earlier, I'm a huge Prince fan, you know, and he just, you know, left us a year earlier, David Bowie, you know, kind of this whole concept of where the hell are our heroes going, you know, as far as, you know, from a musical standpoint is concerned. And then you start kind of deep diving a little bit, you know, if these guys are struggling, you know, what the hell's going on in my own head, you know? So I really kind of started a kind of a mental health deep dive on this, and then that's where the, you know, the kind of chorus comes from, you know, I'll say that I'm afraid if you say that you're okay. I'll say that, you know, I'm having some issues if you can tell me you're okay too, or you're on that same wavelength, you know, so. And that's kind of like Matt was saying, that's kind of how all the songs derive. You know, when we're in the midst of writing music, I just kind of, you know, start working out a beat or a melody and start humming out phrases or things that just kind of pop out right in that moment and try to work around that.
So when it all comes together and you guys get to perform live, how does that feel performing live on stage? And you see these fans like jamming out or like, you know, saying your lyrics to the music. How does that feel when it all comes together and like one complete amalgamation of a sound project?
Oh my God.
It's freaking amazing.
Yeah, I mean,
you know?
That's it. You know? It's the greatest feeling in the world, you know, times two, you know, to be able to kind of look at someone and see that reaction and see them sing it back, you know, and then especially now that we have, you know, a lyric video out, and people can actually understand what the hell I'm saying, you know, and having that immediate comeback, you know, it's always going to be astounding for sure.
Now, do you guys have any crazy fan stories or band stories that have happened while you guys were performing live that you can tell us about?
Are we going to go there, Rob, with a?
Do we want to do vegetables and vodka? Do we need to break this out?
Oh,
break it out.
Oh my God. Okay. It's not so much a performance story, but it was a pregame story.
Okay.
We were playing in Alabama. We were getting set up. And there's this one chick there, and she was always, and you could tell, you know, and when you set up as a rock band, you know, you're setting up at like, you know, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and you could tell this chick was way too drunk, way too early in the evening. So she's there, and you know, it's me and our bass player at the time. You know, we were setting up the stage. And Matt had already set up. So, you know, he's on the bench playing on the phone, and she's looking around, and it's only the 4 of us in a room. So she, like, first and foremost laser beams to Matt and just starts, you know, talking to him. And she's like, hey, what's going on, you know. So as if that wasn't bad. So as if that wasn't bad enough, you know, then me and Will have to run interference, right? And the great thing about what was that?
I'm looking over at him like, please help! Oh my God!
So
I'm like
so
married.
We went over there. Yeah, we're all married. You know, we all have kids, so we're just like, nope, not happening. No, can we, you know. Can we get the 3-foot bubble, please? But anyways, so the great thing about this venue that we played at, you know, it's closed now, but they had a full-service kitchen, right? And the chef was incredible. He came in and had this tray, and he's like, pulled pork sandwiches, anyone? We're like, yeah, we're starving artists. We're hungry, absolutely.
Of course.
So we all start diving into the pulled pork, and this chick does too. And she gets, and this is a big A sandwich, mind you. So, and she's, pulling the David Hasselhoff where it's like practically spilling out. And she gets halfway through the sandwich, and she goes, wait, hold on. What am I eating right now? And then all three of us simultaneously are like, pulled pork. And she just does this like sudden gagging, like, like, and we're thinking, oh God, she's gonna blow, right? So she, goes to practically every trash can and just dry heaves. She never does it, but she's just like, and we're thinking like, oh God, did it just trigger it? And then all of a sudden she just shouts, no, I'm vegan. I can't eat dead animals. No, like it was ridiculous. So then she walks out. She's like, I need a drink, like trying to wash out the pulled pork anyway. So she goes to the bar and then comes back 30 seconds later and just starts yelling, just like, they won't serve me. And we're like, well, why not? They don't serve me because I don't eat dead animals. And it's like, no, it's not because, bro, no, I don't think it's that, but okay. But anyways, that's what we're all thinking in our heads, and I mouth out, I'm just like, what are you going to do? She retorts with, eat vegetables and vodka. I got to go. And then she bails, and we never see her again for the rest of the night. So that is the epic story of vegetables and vodka. You're welcome, America.
So she didn't even stay for the show.
She didn't even stay for the show. No, after all that cavorting, she didn't even stay. It was just like, oh, well, okay, bye.
Oh my gosh.
So there you have it, folks.
So for the rest of 2019, do you guys have any big plans? What do you guys have planned for the rest of the year?
Well, we have the EP. Yeah, I was gonna say we got the big show, the big EP coming out. The EP that the single is off of, called The Collapse, that's coming out on June 28th. And on that date, we have a rather large show. We're actually playing the Masquerade in Atlanta. So we're actually going to be playing up there, kind of doing a CD release thing, and we're going to be with Framing Hanley and Shallow Side. So we're going to be opening up for those guys. And from what I understand, the show itself, tickets are going fast, so if you're in the Atlanta area, by all means. But yeah, we're going to start selling the CD there, and then, from there, who knows, we'll be playing shows everywhere we can. You had mentioned, the Forge in Joliet.
Yeah.
We would love to get up there one of these days, the Machine Shop, and just, really start hammering it out.
Yeah, those are pretty. Forge is nice. I've never been to Machine Shop, but it's I've seen videos of the shows there, and I've known a bunch of bands that have played there. It looks pretty epic. I mean, as so many bands have played there before.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we've never actually gotten a chance to be there ourselves, but every time we see photos and every time we see video, we've opened up for a Non-Point a couple of times, and every time we see them go up there, it just looks like a giant party. So we definitely respect the Northern rock community for sure. I'm originally from the area, and I miss it. I miss it bad.
Yeah, I wish we had I'm East Central Illinois, and we don't have a scene like that. We have nothing. We have cover bands and country, so there's no rock. I mean, 15 years ago, and I live close to a college town, so you'd think it would be bigger, but 15 years ago, I mean, you could go to any place in Champaign, Illinois that was a bar, and there could be so many bands out there, nobody knows the name of them, and they would sell at the bar, but it's not like that anymore. It's like pulling teeth. I've hosted so many shows around here, and wow, it's just crazy. It is absolutely crazy, but I think it's kind of starting a little trickle a little bit, but we shall see. We'll see what happens. It's not like the scene, more up north, the Chicago area or Joliet, as you start to get closer to Chicago. It's not quite like that, so.
No, yeah, totally understood. We're kind of in the same boat. We live in the panhandle of Florida. We're literally in between Pensacola and Panama City. And, but we really kind of call Pensacola our second home because that's where we can really do a lot of the original shows. There's a couple places, in our hometown where we can, but pretty much just about anything east of us, you're talking Panama City Beach, Tallahassee. There's a lot of, there's a little beach town in this area called Destin where it's a lot of exactly that. If it's not country, if it's not top 40, if it's not anything like that, there's not a lot of audience for it. But as a kind of a regional act, we're finding the niche, and we're finding that there are plenty of bands out there, tons of bands that are really kind of still in that same vein, and rock itself is coming back. You got bands like Nothing More and Bad Flower and all these different bands that are really kind of bringing out that raw rock sound and that real emotional honesty. And we as far as our goals, we just like to be counted amongst them. You know what I mean?
Well, and I think when you compare it to, again, 15 years ago, we'll even go back even further. Like when CDs first came out, when a CD came out, I mean, that when I was 16 and a band CD came out, that's where my money went. It wasn't as plentiful as it is now. Like that's why, and I don't know, and I guess, is that your intention when you guys release music? Will you release music song by song by song? Because I think that's what a lot of bands do, because it's not like it was, 15 years ago where everybody wants a full CD or full EP, even an EP, a smaller EP,
Right.
Everybody's, I think, attention span, especially, and I don't want to date myself, but like, especially younger kids. I mean, they may like a song from a band, and that's pretty much all they like, and they're on to the next. So that's not me, definitely not me, and how I feel about music. But a lot of younger people I see like that.
I think it's because the medium with which people listen to music now is so much different. It used to be you pull out your CD case in the car and flip through 8 pages to find your CD, but now it's so much easier to find just that exact thing that you want. You hop on Spotify or Pandora, hit that shuffle button, or listen to the radio shuffle, and you hear that one song that you like, and you add that to your playlist. And so they've kind of come to this this way of listening to music that's not necessarily, I like this band and this album, I'm going to buy their CD. It's more, I heard that song randomly, and I like it, and I like this song. So, like, maybe, it has more impact than, like, it's a different medium now.
Right.
It's different. So we've got to move with the time. I think that bands in general have done a really good job of trying to bridge that gap, and I think with live music and trying to get there with them and make them a fan of us in general will help like move that way forward to like becoming a fan, as opposed to just something that you heard randomly.
And I can only hope so.
Yeah. I was going to say, piggybacking off of that, it's very, like you said, it's very singles driven culture nowadays. If you can't get their attention in 3 minutes, no one gives a shit.
Yeah.
But having said that, that's really, I feel, from an artist standpoint, that's really forced a lot of bands, ourselves included, especially with this EP, that's really forced a lot of bands to, for lack of a better term, cut the shit. Actually come up with quality songs. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah, stuff that's really going to grab people's attention, and then hope and pray that everyone kind of gravitates toward the whole record, and then realize the whole record as a whole as an art form. It's like, oh, well, yeah, that's what they were trying to do, and really gain the fans that way for sure.
Well, no, another weird thing that I think plays into, and I never even knew about this. I'm all over social media, and I follow many bands, and I had went to the Plot in You last year, and it's a younger crowd. Most of the people are a lot younger than me. And I was listening to just the kids talk, and when I say kids, they're like 20 or maybe a little younger.
Yeah.
And they were talking about numbers. They're like, hey, did you hear this band? And I don't remember the exact band they were talking about. And they're like, oh, they only have this many Facebook likes, so I'm not going to listen to them. And I thought, are you kidding me? And it was just crazy. And then I've been told, in St. Louis, there's not Facebook promoters, but promoters. They don't even touch you unless you have X amount of Facebook likes. I'm like, you've got, number one, those can be bought. And number two, are you kidding me? That is just insane to me. I did not know that.
Yeah.
So wish we could just take that out of the equation, I guess, so that thought process. But it is what it is. So
I think we agree. It's we would much rather have that human connection as opposed to, buying likes on Facebook.
Of course, definitely.
And that's what we're here. I mean, having these interviews and talking to people, get our own voices out there. Help people, relate to us, because we're just normal people, and we just trying to do our thing.
Well, let's plug you. Let's plug your stuff. Where can people find you? Do you guys have a website? Are you all over social media? And I know the answer, but tell everybody where you guys are at and where they can find your music or your merch or what you guys have available.
We don't do that stuff.
Let me go ahead and hawk. So we don't have the official website, but we are indeed everywhere on social media, and I mean everywhere. The great thing about having the band name the way it is that it's pretty unique.
Yeah.
So, all you got to do is search up the Helvetica Effect, and boom, there is everything. There's our Facebook, our Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. The pre-order for the new record is on Bandcamp. And we have our merch on Big Cartel as well.
Well, I thank you guys for coming on the show tonight. Come back anytime with new music, new videos, new music news that we need to share, but I appreciate you guys coming on the show.
We appreciate you having us. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Well, thank you.